Hey, Mitch. How are you going, buddy?
Hey, I'm all right. You? Good afternoon. Well, there's probably evening where you are, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We're about 8:30 at night here. The kids are asleep, and we're connected straight to the UK.
Well, they're not asleep here. I don't know if you can see me. It's glorious sunshine here.
It looks,
and we're all stuck indoors.
Yeah. Tell me about that. How's everything going in the lockdown?
Confusing is the word I think they'll find. I don't think anybody knows what they're doing. But it's been, what have I been locked down now for 7 weeks, which is why the beard is present. But yeah, it's been 7 weeks, and it's been interesting. But it's got to be done. We've got to do it. I'm not quite sure we should all be going back to work yet, but that was an announcement that was made. But I'm not. I'm staying in and writing songs and keeping safe.
Yeah. Well, you've been extremely productive. Sort of based on your newsfeed, you've been putting out a lot of Beatles songs.
Yeah. Well, you've got to do things to beat the boredom, ain't you? And I've always been a bit of a Beatles fan, which might surprise a few Communicators fans, but I've always been a massive Beatles fan. And it was just something I thought, well, why not? I've got time. Might as well record a bit of that whilst I'm recording some of the other. And it seems to have gone down quite well. I did notice your T-shirt. I was sort of me being the idea.
Yeah, I thought I'd better wear something appropriate for the occasion.
A comms T-shirt. That's what you need.
Oh, absolutely. We've got to have a chat about that later and see if we can get something shipped down. Yeah. Speaking about sort of like the comms and stuff, like your style and all the videos you've got on YouTube, like you've got it's really bright and colorful. It's a really cool.
You're gonna get a West Country sound effect right now. If you can watch, see, there's a pulled up on the side of me. So that is perfect timing.
Give us a look at that.
Any better?
Give us a look at the.
Just there, but it's gonna it's 2 meters away, so don't worry. It might show up in a minute. So ask me the question again.
Yeah, wicked. No, I was just talking about like the actual theme of the comms. Like, so when you're looking at your website and you see all the videos that you guys are doing, it's very colorful. Like your logo as well. Like you have a lot of colors on it.
That's actually quite a brand new thing. We're rebranding at the moment, and this is what we've branded too. Because we started off as a two-tone ska sort of covers band back in 1802 or whenever it was when we started. And but we did that, and then we wrote some of our own songs, which was very much in that sort of two-tone ska style. And then we split up. We split up for in 2012 until last March, and got back together then. And when we got back together, we did a lot of the two-tone ska stuff. But life's moved on and stuff since then. And it's not to say that we're forgetting our roots of ska, because we're not, because we love it. But we've got so many other influences, like you've already mentioned, the Beatles and things like Britpop, guitar music, mod, punk. There's so many different influences in our stuff now that really the original logo and everything, that was very black and white, and that two-tone type of thing. It just doesn't fit with us anymore. So we went. I spoke with a guy, Alan, who did our rebrand, and he said, "Well, what do you want?" And I said, "I want exactly the opposite of what we've been using, because this is very much that, and we've got lumped into this two-tone ska tribute band sort of thing, and that's not what we are." So and I invented this genre, if you want to call it that, which is not really an invention, but because we do sort of Britpop ska, I invented BritSka, which happens to be a cat. Apparently, I've just found out a BritSka.
Oh, really?
That's
fantastic.
Now, I don't know what that means. But so I invented this thing, and he said to me, "Well, what does BritSka mean to you?" And I just started coming out with this monologue of what it was. It's like guitars and the people that was involved in it, and it come out as this like poem and monologue. So on our YouTube channel, you can see this thing that says, "What is BritSka?" And we put it all together with music. But that's what it meant. It meant things like the Small Faces. It means things like Blur. It means things like Madness, the Specials, Squeeze. And all sorts of bands all rolled into one that we called this BritSka thing. It's just that I think we can't get away from the ska element, and I don't want to get away from the ska element completely, because that sort of offbeat happy, upbeat sort of sound is very, it's very, in our music. But we're not just that. So he went away and he come back, and I can remember when he come back with the logo. When he first came back, I hated it. I was like, that's not us. That's not who we are. And I was like, well, hang on a minute. This is exactly what I asked him to do. And I looked at it and I went, and because he even said to me, he said, look, I've been to Communicators gigs, that's our elongated name if you want to, call it that. But most people call us the Goms because the Communicators is just a mouthful. And he said, I think, you sure you're not going to alienate some of your hardcore two-tone fans? And I said, to be honest, if we do, by this logo and by the stuff we're doing, then we're going to anyway, because, this is who we are and this is where we're going. So that's why we ended up with it. But yeah, everything's, life is too dull and black and white and scary to not, and I don't want that in my music. When I listen to a song, I want to be uplifted and taken somewhere else. I don't want to slit my own throat. Jesus Christ, there's enough of that going on in the world.
For sure.
And that's not to say that there aren't, there's a lot of subjects or subject matter within our album which are probably quite dark, but you wouldn't necessarily know that.
No, but the thing is, I think the logo sort of goes very well hand in hand with your music. Like over the last few days, I've listened quite a few to quite a few of the songs you have on your website, and they're all like it's good party music. You know what I mean? Like it's got you got your brass section, you got your the Hammond, you've got some really cool funky stuff, and it's just happy music. I love it. It's a very, very unique sound.
Well, that's the thing that it's really important. So what I've done is, or what I've tried to do when writing the songs, is take guitar riffs from bands that, I like the Kinks, and I like Blur and bands like that. So let's try and take guitar lines from that, and then I like the brass of all the ska bands we were sort of talking about earlier on. You might hear some more noise behind me, but and try and make it so that it's sort of one big sound rather than, because I think the problem is when we came back and we did the ska stuff, although it was fantastic, I'm just going to walk away for a minute, although it was fantastic and brilliant and everything else, we weren't doing anything that anybody else hadn't done, and I think the problem with the ska two-tone movement, if you want to call it that, back in 1979, it was brand new, it was fresh. They took ska music and they put their own twist on it. The specials are sort of punky, and they didn't have a massive amount of brass, and the Madness took that sort of fairground sound and made it their own as well. But the trouble with when we came in to do it is that the Specials and Madness and all those bands, they came back, which meant that there was no new bands taking it forward. It sort of kept it where it was, and that's not really what I wanted. I want to keep that music alive, but in a slightly different way, so that, because when I was a kid and I was like, and Madness came about, or actually, I remember it was like No Doubt, if you remember No Doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. They're huge.
In Don't Speak. Yeah, in Don't Speak, that song, the drummer was wearing a Madness t-shirt, and I was like, what's that about? Wow. So then I found Madness. And then when I found Madness, I found people like Prince Buster. And that's for me, that's what music's about. It's so that you hear something and you think, I really like that, and then you go and find out where it originated from. And that's what I want for our music. I know there's a lot of sort of hardcore two-tone fans who go, don't get it, I don't get what you're doing, and that's okay. That's more than entitled to do that, and that's not that I want to alienate anybody, because I don't. But we're trying to do our own thing and make it bring up to date a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
That's where we are. Really.
Well, I mean, you guys, you've had quite a few lineup changes over the last decade, as far as I could sort of tell from some of the documentaries you've put up on YouTube. Could you try and maybe go back from the start and say, so how did you guys decide to play? Because the logistics alone of having an 8, 9, or 10 piece band would be gastronomical. Like, how do you keep that many people organized?
You don't. Is the key. And it's like herding cats a lot of the time, and not only is it obviously 9 or 10 different people, it's 9 or 10 different egos and ideas.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can't please everybody. And there's. I can remember one of our many guitarists over the years saying to me that democracy is great, but you do need an evil dictator at the helm. And and I don't know who he meant, possibly, but well, I think we did work out, and I did put on one of the documentaries exactly how many people have been in and out, and it was like an unbelievably insane amount of people. But the thing is, when we started, how it came about, if you've watched all the documentaries, so when I was a kid, I was quite a keen football player. You might call it soccer. I don't know what you would call it, but
yeah, it's soccer down here, but
football.
I know.
And then I actually signed for a team, Aston Villa, in the UK.
Oh wow!
Which were they're in the Premier League now. They were in the top. Yeah, they're in the top division then. But I had a collapsed lung, and I had to give up playing for a little while. And during that time, when you're 15 and you think, I can remember my careers officer saying to me, "What do you want to be when you grow up then?" And I said, "A footballer." And he said, "Yeah, but if that doesn't work out, what are you going to be?" And I was like, "What do you mean if that doesn't work out? You're insane. This is exactly what I'm doing." And that was that. So then when my lung collapsed and I had to give up playing, now I didn't have to give up playing indefinitely, but during that time where I wasn't playing, I discovered booze and women and various other things that take your mind off of being depressed about not being a footballer. And I guess looking back on it now, so I had quite a dramatic change in life back in 2012, which I'll talk about in a minute, but looking back at it now, I think the reason because I never played football again from the age of 15 up until the age of 37. Right?
Wow.
And people are like, "Well, why just didn't you play?" And I was like, and I just put it off. But looking back on it now, it's a lot easier to sit here and say, I signed for Aston Villa and I didn't make it because I had a collapsed lung, than it is then that I just wasn't good enough. And I think that was part of my shit, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Which is the reason I never went back. It's like, if you don't try, you can't fail, can you?
Exactly.
So I didn't, and I didn't play the game I loved for years, 20 odd years. So it was like, that's insane. So I am playing again now. So. But not for Aston Villa, as you know. So when that happened, I was a bit. I think you call it going off the rails a bit. Life was over, and all those dramatic sort of statements came out of my mouth. I think. And a friend of mine said to me, "I am sick to death of watching you mope around. I've got 2 tickets to see this band at Finsbury Park in London." This is 1992, and I said, "Yeah." He said, "I was going to take my missus, but she's really just not into them at all." So, and I was like, "Who you talking about?" He said, "Oh, it's Madness." And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll go and do that." So he said, "But on the one condition, you cheer up because you're doing me head in." So I said, yeah. And we went, and there was like 70,000 people here, and it was their comeback gig, the first ever Madlock. And I can remember just like they come on stage, and they actually caused a mini earthquake with all the stomping, which was quite interesting.
Really?
And
far out.
Yeah, measured on the Richter scale, which was we didn't know that at the time. We just thought, Jesus Christ, that's like. And I was watching them, and they come out on stage, and I thought, you lot are just having such a great time, and that's my new job. I'm going to do that, and
love it.
But I couldn't play anything. I couldn't sing, and I couldn't play a guitar. I tried to play a guitar at school, and that didn't work. I ended up hitting a teacher, which is probably don't do that, kids. We laughed. I didn't take part in being laughed at. So it's but yeah, I thought I can't play any instruments, and then I was sat in the common room at school, and these kids were talking about this band they were in. And I said, are you lot in a band? They said, well, we were, but our drummer's left. I was like, that's all right, I'm a drummer. And they were, really? I was like, yeah. My mates sort of sat looking at me. And they said, well, look, our singer's away for the next 6 weeks. We'll audition you when he's back. And I went, yeah, cool. We swapped telephone numbers and all the things you used to do back in the day. And they got on and left, and my mate said, are you a drummer? I was like, no. And he went, what's the matter with you then? And I said, well, look, I said, they need a drummer, and I got to be in a band. So how odd can it be? So I went home that night and asked me mum if I could have a set of drums. She said, no way. I was like, oh, please, I got an audition in 6 weeks' time. And she said, and I said, look, I can afford the kit, but I can't afford any cymbals. And she said, well, if you go and buy the kit, if you're still doing it in 6 weeks' time, I'll buy you some cymbals. So off I went. And I bought this. Me and my mates got in the back of this Bedford Rascal, which I don't know if you know what Bedford is. It's about as big as just shoe boxes. And there were 7 of us in the back of this Bedford Rascal and this Premier Olympic drum kit I bought. And I got it home and I set it up in the front room. And this is where my love of the Beatles comes from, because my mum is a massive Beatles fan. And I was like, well, look, if Ringo can do this, surely I can. So I just played along to Beatles records. And at the end of the 6 weeks, she said, all right, you're still doing it. She bought me a set of cymbals. I went to the audition and I was crap, rubbish, but I was no worse than they were. So, and they went, right, you're in. And then all of a sudden I was a drummer in a band. And I really learned to play the drums through just sheer will of, like, I've got to be in a band. And then after years of doing that, it was my ex-wife, actually, who wanted to, I was in a band with this girl, Sarah, who was the singer, and a band called Velveteen. And they were sort of like, I don't know, Blondie meets Sleeper. It was like Britpoppy punk sort of stuff. And my then wife said to me, oh, I'd really like to do that. And I said, well, can't kick her out, she's great. You know, and she said, no, I didn't want that. She said, but I'd like to sing in the band. So I said, it's okay, I'll put a band together. And I put this band together. It's like just covers band. And I was drumming, and I thought, right, Velveteen didn't have any brass, and I thought, well, I want some brass, so let's do that. So I got a load of brass players in, I got a keyboard player in, a guitarist, a bass player, and then she was going to sing and I was going to drum. And in literally a couple of days before our first rehearsal, she said, can't do it. I was like, what do you mean you can't do it? And she said, I can sing, but I can't do all that in between songs. I was like, I can't let all these people down. So I said, look, my mate Chris, who was my drum tech at the time, I said, would you drum? And I'll stand up front with you, and you could be the talent and I'll be the cop. And that's how it'll work. And we did that, and we started that band. And that band's still going today. A band called the Riverbrook.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. And it was all covers. And, they ended up doing all functions, weddings, funerals, bar mitzvahs, that sort of thing. And when me and my ex-wife split up, I left. I went, look, it's her band, and she got quite confident at that point and whatever. And the sax player rang me and he said, look, I'm not being funny, mate, but we can get anybody to do what she does, but we can't get everybody to do what you do. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said just that being a frontman thing. He said that's quite an important part of our band, and anyone can go ooh la 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 and sing, and I was like, oh, this is going to be uncomfortable. So that went down well in the divorce, as you can imagine. But they kicked her out, and I stayed. And all of a sudden, I was like, Christ, I'm a singer in a band. When did that happen?
Yeah, well, how did that just happen?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, Jesus Christ. So then I was at a Riverbrook gig singing, and this guy came up and said, do you like ska music? I was like, yeah. Because we did in the Riverbrook, we did like baggy trousers, and we did a few of the standards that everybody liked. And I said, yeah, I love ska music. He said, do you want to be in my ska band? I was like, yeah, they're brilliant. And he said, right, great. And so again, swap numbers. And then he rang me up in the week, and he said, look, you don't know any brass players, do you? I said, well, what do you need? He said, well, we ain't got any. I was like, all right. I said, I know a trombone player, and a sax player. Brilliant. So I rang him up, said, would you be interested? Yeah, great. And then left it a couple of days, and he said, you don't know a keyboard player, do you? Yeah, I do. And he said, oh, great, get him in. So I rang Tony and said, he was the keyboard player in the Riverbrook, and said, you don't fancy doing this? Yeah, great. Big deal up. Did that, got him in. Then what else was next? Oh, then he said, you know a drummer, do you? I said, hang on a minute. I said, what have you got? He said, well, there's me and a bass player. I said, well, that's my fucking band, is it? And so I got all these people together, and then literally, the week of the first rehearsal, he rang me up and said, the bass player's quit. I was like, right. So I got my mate in on bass. So basically, I put the whole thing together other than him. And at the first rehearsal, we were sat in a place called Hot Shots, which has been torn down now. And we were out in the back room rehearsing, and we went in for a pint to have a chat, sort of, because it was going quite well. We were having a chat, and there was a load of lads in there. And I didn't know this, but he used to be in a ska band years and years ago, and it was them. They were all there. And they were like glaring at us and going, and some guy came up to me and said, who do you think you are singing in? And pointed at this other geezer and said, you're singing in his band. And I was like, how's it his band? I said, does he know any of these people other than this idiot? And he was like, and then it all got a bit, so we went back out in the back room. Well, Chris, the guitarist, who originally come up to me and asked me to be in his band, you know, we were waiting, and he wasn't there. And this is how long ago it was. You could smoke then, so his fag was still burning on his amp. And it's like, and then it was that, and then my phone went, and it was Chris. I was like, where are you? He said, I've had to leave. I said, what do you mean I've had to leave? He's gone out the back window of the toilet, right, and run off down the road, so they're going to fill his head. They're going to, like, give him a slap. And he said, I can't be in a band anymore, that's it. And just disappeared. And he left his amp in his back. And honestly, to this day, I've never seen him again.
That's such a strange story.
But I was like, what are we going to do now? So I sat down with the rest of the band and said, what do you want to do? And they went, well, it sounds too good to just leave it. Why don't we just find a guitarist? So I've got a guitarist in, and the rest, as they say, was history. But then they say it was mostly, it was all covers at that point. Until we had no intention of writing songs or anything of that nature. We were just like, it was like a gang. It was, you know, because there's 10 of you.
Yeah.
It's like wherever you play, you know, if you all bring one person with you, there's 20 of you, and we used to just sort of take over most places. And we played with Neville Staples. We did a load of supports for like people like the Beat and stuff like that. It was great. And then one day we were playing down in Ilfracombe, which you probably don't know where that is, but it's down south in England. And we went down there, and it was like something like a Thursday night, and literally there was 2 people in the crowd, and it was peeing down with rain. It was hideous, but we had such a great night because we were staying in a hotel room down there, and I drew the straw because my then wife was with me. Well, I guess that sort of was a short straw, but I'm not going to get into that. There was me and her in a room, and we got a keyboard player and put him with us. All right, whatever. So we're there in bed, like sort of just chatting, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden these noises started coming from somewhere in the hotel. Right? I don't know what this person was doing to this woman, but she was making noises like I've never heard before. And I thought, and it you know, at first you're sort of thinking, well, fair play, and then or foreplay, whichever way you want to call it, but then after it went on and on and on and on, I got a bit annoyed, and I started saying, "Shut up!" Right, and nothing was there. So I got a broom handle, and I was hitting the wall and banging on the wall and saying, "Will you shut up?" Anyway, it eventually calmed down, and we went down for breakfast the next morning. We're all sat there, we're all like looking at each other a bit like, did you hear that last night? Did you? Oh yeah, they tried to, did it go on, blah, blah, and all the rest of it. And nobody was admitting to anything, right? And then when I went to check out, I discovered that it was only the band staying in the hotel.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So that person was one of them. And not to this day do I know which one it was. So I came away from there and we wrote this song, Banging on the Wall, which is about that night. And we did it literally for a bit of a laugh. And we were in the studio doing some stuff. And I said, I got this idea for this Banging on the Wall, and me and the drummer got together and put a bit of it together and stuff. And we wrote Banging on the Wall, and we did it at gigs, and people were singing it, and it was like, how do you know it? You know, it's like, Jesus. So, and then we wrote another one, and then another one, and then all of a sudden it was like we got 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10, and then an album worth of 16 tracks. That was our own, and they were going down as well as the other stuff at gigs. So we just carried on.
Awesome.
And now people don't want us to carry on; they want us to play covers.
And what year was this? So, because goes back like
to maybe what year was it? I reckon 2009, 2008. So a long time ago.
Far out, yeah.
Yeah, and then that lineup split up. We headlined the stage at Glastonbury Festival, which I'm sure you know about Glastonbury Festival.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally over there from where.
Oh wow, nice.
And it's like for years I tried to get bands to play Glastonbury, and I never got a call back. And in this one year where I didn't bother ringing or putting an email in, they rang me and I said, "Would you come?" And I was like, if I knew I just had to ignore you for years, then then I would have done that a long time ago.
That's fantastic.
But they phoned up and asked us if we'd headline one of the smaller stages, and we're like, yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic. There's a stage called the Croissant Neuf stage, which is it's like the oldest running stage at Glastonbury, but it's like a solar powered stage, and they asked us to play that. I'm like, yeah, brilliant. And they said, you go on at midnight and you'll be the last thing on the Friday night. Right, so Neil Young finished literally at 5 to midnight on the main stage, and then they had nowhere else to go other than our stage. So we started about five past midnight, and it was just the most mental experience you've ever seen. And,
awesome.
But it was a bit of a downfall of the band, to be honest, because I think we all thought we'd made it at that point. And then sort of took our foot off the gas a little bit. And then we split up shortly after that. That lineup split up shortly after that.
Why's that?
And I got second. That lineup. Why was that? I think they did. When was it? I reckon probably 2000. Just beginning of 2011.
But if you had this awesome experience together, why did people decide to leave? All of them? Like sometimes you usually only like
milk, I'd say.
Right.
And also they just hate me, and that's the way things happen.
But so when you played that stage at Glastonbury, were you playing originals then? Was that your own songs?
I'd say it was 3/4 originals and a few covers. So say out of 15, 16 songs, I reckon we did 11, 12 of our own. So
yeah, that's I would say that's you playing your own songs for sure.
Yeah. And even the covers we did, I don't know if you've seen any of our old stuff. We did a ska version of Hotel California, which people seem to like.
Oh wow! No, I haven't seen that one.
I'll send you a copy, but it's on our first album, Communicators, which is our first album, and that was done with the original lineup. And obviously, I had to go to the Eagles, and they had to sanction it and everything with it, which that was a bit of a buzz in itself. But yeah, so that split up, for a few reasons in early 2011. 8 people just done. So that's it. I'm done with it. Because we never had a manager, it was always me doing things. So like we got offered some gigs with Madness to play with Madness at the O2. So I just told everybody in the band that this is what was going on. But then I would be called up to meetings to go and talk to Madness and their whatever. And I'd be told it could only be me. And of course that doesn't go down too well with people who love Madness and want to meet Madness. And I'm like, well, I'm not going for a jolly up. I'm going to try and get a gig with them. And, and I couldn't understand why they weren't allowed to go either. It's like, well, surely. But then I guess they don't want 9 people showing up and having a party at a meeting for a gig at the O2, I guess. But then, of course, it was like the very them and us attitude. I became the manager or the one who was making the decisions and keeping things from people, which that wasn't good.
It's quite often that you hear that story. Like when you don't have that sort of external person that sort of makes the overall like business decisions for the band. If it is someone in the band, they can tend to be a little bit of like a sour milk there.
Well, I think the thing is like when you've got a common enemy, haven't you? When there's a manager, it's like when he fuck something up, you can all think he's a prick.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're the one who's in the band and you've messed something up, then
exactly.
And then this problem. So yeah, and things sort of grew from there, and it didn't end very acrimoniously, unfortunately. But I mean, I got no problems with anyone. I love everyone. So then I got 8 new members in, and we had the second lineup of the Communicators.
Far out.
And that was like that was all originals. We did WOMAD Festival, which is Peter Gabriel's festival, and we opened that, and that was probably the best gig ever. It was just like 10,000 people, and it was just absolutely insane. When we started, there was hardly anybody in because it was like a big red circus tent, massive thing, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is, there's like one man and a dog sat here. And then by the time we finished the end of the first song, it was Ram, and at the end they were all singing back to us like a song I wrote with a friend of mine years ago when I was 16, and it was like, wow, this is why we're in. And that was probably a more successful lineup, to be honest with you, because it was all original stuff. But then they split up in 2012. But then I was going for it because I was I don't know if you've seen this, but I was 23 stone at the time, and not in a very good place.
Yeah, so I saw some of the older photos. Yeah, you looked a little bit bigger than what you are right now.
A big boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Big boy. And not good, I was drinking too much, an addict of various things, and life wasn't good. And I went on this diet, and I dropped 11 stone 4 in 6 months.
Wow.
And when you do something like that, unless it's really difficult to explain to someone who hasn't done something like that, to what that takes and where you need to go mentally. And I found that when I dropped all the weight and that, I didn't know who I was, let alone anybody else. So when we went on stage, it was I don't know, it was just different, and I just felt like I didn't fit in the Communicators anymore. It's like, I think they wanted that 23 stone lager drinking gobshite, and I just wasn't him anymore. I wasn't him anyway, if that makes sense. It was this role I had to play to fit in, and all those other things, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. So it all changed, and then I went on, and I work with addicts. To this day, I still work with addicts and alcoholics and people with any addictions, and food addiction being one of the worst, actually. Although it's not taken seriously, food addiction's a nightmare because you have to have a little bit of your drug every day to live. And
true, yeah,
it's the problem. I work with heroin addicts, and we give heroin addicts like methadone to get them off heroin, but then we wean them off methadone. If you then said, well, what we're going to do now is give you a little bit of heroin every day, that would be mean. You wouldn't do that. But that's the food addiction model. It's like you're going to go on diet for a period of time and abstain from this, and then you can have it. And it's just, and it's hard. It's hard for people. So I still do that today. But going through all that, and I wouldn't say I changed. I just allowed myself to be me. So then when I was me, I wasn't that guy. And then so I resisted and resisted and resisted getting the comms back together. And I think in the documentary, I said that I got a phone call from a promoter who said, it's probably about 2.5 years ago now, who said, would you be interested in putting the Communicators back together for a one-off gig? And I said, we probably won't get past the first rehearsal, mate. We're going to kill each other.
Yeah.
And he said, well, okay. And he went off, and then he came back, rung me a few days later and said, well, all right, Mitch, how about you put a ska band together and stand at the front? He said, because I think if you did that, people would think it was the Communicators anyway. And we had a full-on row about that. So I said, look, those people I played, I said, that's hugely disrespectful for everybody who's ever been in Communicators, because they're all fantastic musicians who made that band what it was. That's why I could stand at the front and be bolshy and confident and everything else because they were so good, and I trusted every one of them. And he said, "Well, I get that." He said, "But if Madness had some other geezer singing at the front, there wouldn't be Madness, would they? But if Suggs gets up and does something, they go, oh, is that Madness guy?"
Yeah.
He said, "It's not a personal thing. It's just you are the singer or the front man or whatever you want to call it, and that's the way it is." Anyway, we had this row, and I put the phone down on him, and I thought that was the end of it. I was in the studio recording some other stuff, and this song kept going round and round and round and round around my head. And I said to the guy, I said, "Look," I said, "do me a favor." I said, "Just give me the guitar." I said, "Press record and just let me go." So I went off and I sung this song, played this song, and I put the guitar down. He went, and the guy he's done all our producing for us. He said, "What was that?" I said, "I don't know. It's doing my head in. I can't concentrate on what I'm doing because it's going around my head." And he said, "It sounds like the Communicators." And I said, "Well, yeah, a bit." And he said, I said, "Look, put it in a file. We'll leave it there and I'll come back to another day, maybe." Anyway, that kept happening a few times. And then whilst I was in the studio this one day, the promoter phoned me again. And again, he's like, "I really think that if you just did it, it'd be fine." Da, 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 da. And we had this row, and I ended up calling him a dickhead and put the phone down on him again. And when I put the phone down, the guy in the studio, Ollie, the producer Ollie, he said to me, he said, "What was that about?" And I said, "Well, this idiot thinks that I could just stand in the front of any band and it would be the Communicator, the ass to twat." And he went, "He's got a point." And he said, "More out." He said, "Let's get those songs out of that file and have a listen." And there was like, I don't know, there's like 19 songs or something in there, 17 songs, something like that. And we listened to them, and we were listening and thinking, God, actually, some of this is really good. So our old Facebook page was still up. And I literally just put this post in saying that I'm recording some ska type Communicators-esque tunes at the moment. Would anybody be interested? And like I said, if you are, I'll set up this group. Put yourself in there, and we'll discuss it. Well, we had 700 members in by the end of the day, within 4 or 5 hours.
Wow!
Oh shit! People seem to be interested. So then I was asking the people in the group, should we be the Communicators or should I change the name because it won't be with the old line and blah blah blah. And even like the fans, if you want to call them that, were saying, "It don't matter as long as you're doing those songs and it's you and you're into it. We'll come." And I was like, yeah. So then auditioning started, which took about a year, which was just, I had about 150 drummers. God knows how much.
100?
Not quite, but I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
I rehearsed up one lineup almost to the point of going, and then they all just went, "Oh, I don't think we can do it. I don't think we can do it." So that's the way I get a load of people in, which is the people that's in the band today. But they all bring their own thing to it as well. It literally, I walked on stage and I was the only person. So this comeback gig that we did at the Tropicana in Western Supermare last March, I was the only person from that original lineup in it. And we sold 800 odd tickets in this place, and it was just the most awesome night. And nights like that, you look back at them now, and maybe like the situation we're in at the moment, where you can't even go and kiss your mum.
Yeah.
Events where you got 800 people jumping up and down, all loving each other and hugging each other, and just going, "Oh, this is amazing," and that. And you think, will life ever get back to that? And I sincerely hope it does, because I can be doing with this, not playing malarkey, doing my spannering.
Yeah. No, it's a very, very unique situation. It's like I speak to my wife about it pretty much every day. It's like will we ever be allowed to hug our loved ones again? Like shake a hand. And again, sort of from a musician perspective, will we ever play big festivals again? Because obviously, if you headline a big stage in front of tens of thousands of people, that is that would be one of the last things to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. So I can't see us. I hate to say this, but I can't see us playing live this year in England. I just can't see.
Probably very unlikely. Yeah.
I think probably what we will do is be able to get together in a room, the band, and do like a live
live stream concert
gig.
Yeah,
because it's like this. We did a track. There's a track on our YouTube channel, Virtual Harmony, and we did that as live as the Communicators could do it in like 8 different parts of the country. We did that, and that was fab. But I think if you've got like a 3-4 piece band, it's quite easy, or it's easier for you to just sit and do a live stream thing from your rooms and stuff. But then when there's 9 and 10 of you, it's a bit awkward, you know.
The logistics are slightly different if you're just a little power trio or something.
That's the future.
Yeah.
The Beatles will be all right there, eh?
Well, I suppose at the end of the day, like really, like how everything is geared these days. You know, you can make music like being in different continents at the moment, because everything has to be online at the moment anyway. And I suppose one of the good things about being online, and I've noticed you've been extremely good at that in the last couple of days, is just promoting. You know, like you put up so much stuff all the time. Like you're doing your Beatles covers.
People, you mean?
Yeah, but again, you have to do that. Like you have to be, because again, it shows that you're passionate, you're consistent. And I suppose
consistently annoying. That is true.
Yeah, but again, I suppose what you're putting up too. Again, it's good content. It's not like you're some rookie, trying to make his way on pretty UK Got Talent or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you obviously have a huge back catalog. You have experience, and you're putting up good content. Like your videos are looking good. Your YouTube channel, your website are looking schmick. So you're allowed to annoy people.
Good. It's interesting because I'm writing so much, because we have got quite a big back catalogue, but I'm writing daily. You know, I'm writing stuff today. I've decided in my head that we're writing not the rest of the band necessarily are that aware of it, but I'm writing an album now in lockdown.
Yeah.
It's and I think that's a good concept for an album. There's this zombie scene running through it, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a song I've just done. It says about having zombies in your bedroom painting their toes, and zombies in the bathroom blowing their nose, zombies in the kitchen doing a twist, and zombies in my hot tub all on the piss. And and it's this thing that we're all turning into these zombies. It's just like, it's mental. It's absolutely mental. But I'm writing stuff all day, every day at the moment. There's a song which I believe you're going to play at the end, Lockdown Summer Bummer, which literally I wrote that 2 days into lockdown. And I used to be a nurse, all right? And I'll try and be as brief as I can with this story, but I used to be a nurse, and I gave that up a long time ago. And I decided when all this kicked off that I would go back, because I thought, if I can help, fantastic. And I spoke to the hospital I worked at, and I said, I want to come back for the pandemic. And they said, brilliant, great to have you, just run through a few things, let's get your PIN reactivated and all that stuff. And right at the end of the conversation, she said to me, just one thing, you haven't got any underlying health problems, have you? And I said, no. I said, I had a heart murmur when I was a kid, but that's not a problem. And I said, and I had a pneumothorax when I was 15, which was the collapsed lung, right? And she went, oh, really?
Yeah.
And I went, that was a long, long time ago. And she said, when you get a cold, what happens? I said, well, I get a cold. And she said, where does it go? I said, well, my chest. She went, I'd love to have you, but I can't. So then I'm sat there thinking, and one of my friends said to me, because of what I do with the addiction and stuff, one of my friends said to me, this must be really doing your head in, because you just like to get your cape on, don't you, and go and save the world. And you can't do it. You've been told you're not allowed. And I was like, I know. So I got off the phone. I was like, well, what can I do? I thought, well, I can pick up a guitar and I can write something and just put it out there, and all the proceeds can go to, and what I've done is all the proceeds are going to my local hospitals. So there's
fantastic.
And Western. Because I worked at Western General. That was the hospital I worked at, and my son, who was born 11 months ago, was born in Taunton, and they also saved my mum's life a couple of years ago, which I'll be forever grateful for. And
wow.
I mean, I think the NHS and the nurses and doctors and stuff, they should have praise all year round forever. It's not, I know there's a pandemic and we're doing all the clapping and that's lovely, but this is something, these people put themselves at risk every day, not just at the moment,
Yeah.
So I did this song, this Lockdown Summer Bummer song, which was just, I recorded it in my conservatory, and I did the video. I got some gifts actually. I got people to send me pictures of them dancing in their kitchen and stuff, their kids dancing and blah, blah, blah. And I got some other gifts off of, YouTube and whatever. And I just sat there and played the guitar, and then I put this video together, and I stuck it out there, and I was like, wow, actually, people have gone nuts for it. So, yeah, I'm writing this stuff all the time. So, and a lot of it, because if you listen to Lockdown Summer Bummer, it's slightly more, I guess, Brit-poppy than We Are the Comms that you've just played. Yeah,
it's definitely a very, very different sound. But again, it's such a catchy, happy tune. Like, I love the whole na 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 na. And again,
it's taught you anything. It's that a na 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 can go
100%. Yeah, I was just about to say that it's got that sort of like the Beatles McCartney vibe to it.
It's just that's fab. Like I say, I mean, it might not be every ardent two-tone ska fans thing, but then that's not fair either, because there's a lot of two-tone fans and ska fans that love the jam, that love mod, punk, and 60s stuff.
But variety is good, and again, I reckon. And you're still true to the overall sound. Like, it's not like you're playing a heavy metal song or going full electronic or anything. It's still, I reckon, it's super authentic. And again, in the video, I actually didn't know that that all the footage that you have in the video was sent to you purposely. That's really cool. That's a good story.
I got, apart from the Donald Trump and the Boris Johnson one. Boris was busy himself at the time, so he couldn't.
Well, he had a short stay at the hospital as well.
He's sure, yeah. That's one way of putting it. Yeah, I think he nearly carked out. But
and he just had a baby as well.
Yeah. We have that in common. Yeah. Both have crazy hair and just new kids, which is just mind blowing in itself. Children, they're.
Is that your first one?
Yeah. Arlo, his name. He's mint.
Yeah, no, it's really good. And he was 11 months now?
Yes. Yeah, he's like
I got it. Yeah.
Thank God.
So he's sleeping at night and all that?
No.
We got a little we got a little 9 months old at the moment. He's the same, he's up all night at the moment, just driving my wife and me from time to time crazy, man. But again, like it's such a blessing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a different sort of tired as well. People tell you you're going to be tired, but honestly, our sax player and our trombone player are married, and they're just having their first. And I said to him yesterday, I said, listen, you won't know tired like it. I said, there's a difference between choosing not to go to bed and not being able to go to sleep. There's a massive difference. Yeah. But he's the only person I allow to puke on me, bite me, shit on me, and not get cross. It's like I look at him and I think, well, hang on a minute, and can I still love you? But I do.
Yeah. So it's just such a different. It's a very different type of love, because it's just unconditional.
The thing is, I spoke to you about the transition from where I was to the human being I am today. That old Mitch. He didn't have kids for a reason. I couldn't look after myself. So.
You need to tell me the whole story about it. How or sort of what motivated you to lose? Was it 11 stone?
11 stone.
That is because that's a lot of kilos.
Yeah, I wasn't in a good place. Let's say that. And I ended up going to see my doctor. And he offered to put me on antidepressants and stuff because I'd been silly, and he offered me these antidepressants, and I said, look, if I could get a grip of my weight, maybe some other things would start going. And he said, yeah, you can give that a go. And he put me in to see the dietitian. He said, look, I know she's available right now, so get in there quickly. So I went over there and I thought, well, I've got to be honest about this. And I went and sat with her, and, you know, I'm not ashamed to say this. I cried and I said, I don't want to be here. I've had enough. You know, I've tried to sort that, and I couldn't even get that right. And I just think that if I could just get some help with this, that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I went right out there, and she went, oh, can I stop you a minute? And I said, yeah. And she said, I've only got 7 minutes with you, and you've cried for 5. And I was like, okay. And she said, I've got just enough time to give you these Slimming World vouchers and some other leaflets, and I can't book you in for another 6 months because we're stacked out. And I walked out of there thinking, right, you've got 3 choices here. You can either take one of these pills a day and go to Slimming World, which I already decided was not going to work for me. You know, I'm not one for sitting in, you know, discussing poo and getting a rosette. Right? So I was like, that's not going to work for me. So I can either take all these pills with the rest of the bulk I've got at home, and I've done it, or there's got to be someone out there. There's got to be someone out there who understands what it feels like to be this. And I went on YouTube, and I don't know why I went on YouTube and not Google, but I went on YouTube and I typed into YouTube, excuse my French, I said, fat fucker drops weight. Right? And this guy kept popping up, a guy called Lawrence Brown. And this crazy black dude, right? And I was watching him, and he went from 22 stone down to 12 stone. He was 6 foot, and I thought, Jesus Christ, you know, he's only human. So if he can do it, and he completely inspired me. And so I rung him, but I texted him because I didn't want to speak to anyone. I texted him and said, look, you know, I've spoke to this diet consultant locally, and she says, you know, I told her I wanted to be 14 stone, and she said I needed to be realistic because I was a big lad and all this stuff. And the phone went. And it was a foreign number. I thought someone trying to sell me something, so I just ignored it. But he was on holiday in Thailand when he got my text message, and he took time out of his holiday to phone me up. And he said, that woman who said that you couldn't drop that weight is full of shit. She's probably fat herself, and she doesn't want you to be less than she is, and I can help you, no problem. Come and see me one day, I'm back in the office, right? So I'm like, so I sort of said, well, where's the office? And he said, Brixton in London. Now, I don't know if you know where I am, but I'm down in Somerset. That's like 3.5 hours away, right? Which in Australia is like a fucking trip to the shop, I know, but here, that's a long way, right? So I'm like, who drives 3.5 hours to go and get weed and buy these products? So I said, no, it's all right, mate. You know, I can't really do that. And looking back on it now, what I was really saying is if I do that and I come and see you and you've inspired the hell out of me, and I actually made the effort to go, I got to fucking do this, haven't I? And there's a guy called Gary Bushell in England. He writes for the Daily Star, and he phoned me about the Communicators and said, look, I'm running this radio show. Would you come and be on it? I was like, yeah. And I was working for somebody at the time. So, and I said, when? He said, well, Friday. I said, oh, and this was Wednesday. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll sort it. Don't worry. So I went and saw my boss, and I said, look, I got Friday off. He went, you can't. I went, well, sack me then, because I'm going. You know, it was like, this is a real big deal for me and the band. And he went, oh, Mitch. I went, it's up to you. Either sack me or let me go. And he went, oh, just fuck off. And so I went up, and so I rung Gary Bush. I said, like, I sorted it. I'll be there Friday. What time? Like 10 o'clock. Where are you? And he went, Brixton. And I went, oh, man. I was like, what is this about? I'll move everything and risk my job and put everything into this for the band. But for something for me, why would you do it? You know? And so I was like, fuck, I gotta go. I'll go and see this guy Lawrence. So I went to see him, and it's like his office. You can't see in or out of his office. Like there's no windows. But I could hear his voice from the other side of this door, and he's going, "And I got this guy coming up from Somerset today, and he's going to be a fucking superstar, and he's this." And I was thinking, I wonder who that is. And I wish I would knew, because I'd have shared a lift with him, whoever he is. And I opened the door, and he was like, "And here he is." And he just he threw his arms around me like I was some sort of long lost brother, and loved the shit out of me until I worked out and loved the shit out of me myself. And he just helped me see things from a different. I went and studied NLP, which I don't know if you know about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming.
Wow.
It's about the brain works, the psychology of why we do the things that we do, And I went and studied that alongside doing the diet, which he'd done, and I did it with a guy called Stephen Bates. It was fantastic. And between the pair of them and me, they helped me sort my shit out. Unfortunately, this is a very, very sad part of this story, unfortunately, but Lawrence killed himself last year, which is ironic because he was the guy who saved me. And it's often that thing, isn't it, where you get people like that who think that they can't actually ask for help, And one thing it taught me when he died was, you can't do all this shit on your own. You've got to, at times you've got to stand up. You've got to say, I'm struggling, or I need help myself. So, not a nice lesson to learn, but a valuable one. But he was awesome. He just, like right now, if he was here, he'd hate it because he'd be like a caged animal, but he'd be getting strategies about how he could help people and do stuff. He was just one of these people who could take the most boring, mundane of ideas and make it the circus. Do you know what I mean? He was, and he's one of those humans that comes into your life once, and you go, wow, what was that? I missed it. It was my birthday yesterday, and it was, from when I met him, so when he passed away, he was always the first person on the phone in the morning. Happy birthday, Super, because he used to call me Superstar. Happy birthday, Superstar. How you doing? Da, da, da. And he's just an awesome, amazing man. And if I can help people, or even a fraction of the people that he did in this world, then I'll be a very, very successful man.
Well, it sounds like he saved your life.
Absolutely. He was the one who told me about killing yourself. Ironically, he said to me, look, that's the Robin Williams quote. He said that's a long-term solution to a short-term problem, my friend.
Very true.
It's that thing. He told me, he said, in 3 years, he said, you'll be thinking, Jesus, that was crazy. In 5 years, you'll be thinking, what was I thinking? In 10 years, you won't even remember that you even tried. So, no 10 years are the same. I look back at the Communicators. I mean, we're having this conversation about the band, the comms now. We're talking about how it started from years ago, and we're on completely different planets.
Oh yeah, if it's a completely different setup and circumstances, and you're what is 11 stone? That's about 60, 70 kilos.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's two small elephants and a donkey, I think.
Yeah. I can see we actually got quite a few people sort of commenting on stuff here, so I'll just prepare people to say that we'll be doing a Q&A in about 15-20 minutes or whenever we sort of get to the end. I think that I would love to hear your view on is sort of how to promote your band, because I think
how to promote.
Yeah, because I think that sort of baffles me a little bit. It's like if you've been up there, you've released 2 albums in the past, and you're currently doing the third. Is that correct?
That's about where we are.
Yeah. So how did you go about it the last 2 times? Because obviously 10 years ago you didn't have all the same availabilities as you have today, with YouTube and Facebook and everything. So were you doing the promotion back then, or did you have someone else like a label or something else to help out?
The first album was released on a small label called BritSka.
Yep.
Spare me a second. You might hear some hum. Hang on, I'm just going to turn the guitar amp off.
This is rock and roll.
Well, I'm going to run it.
There we go.
Because I'm going to run out of charge on my phone, and then we'll be buggered, won't we? So, we were on a label called BritSka. But to be honest with you, they didn't do a massive amount for us. We did it ourselves, and we sold. That first album, and we sold thousands and thousands of them. I might go upside down for a second.
Yep.
I'll be back. There we
go. Boom.
Excellent. There you go. I'm plugged in now. So we sold thousands and thousands of them, but we did it all at gigs and just we had a website, and we sort of made it all happen. Just there was this sort of will that took over people when the Communicators. Like I said, there was 10 of us. So if you got, I always said to the band, like, there's 10 of us. If we all sold 100 albums each, that's pretty good going. And it went on from there. And then when you're playing to crowds, like when we did WOMAD, like I said, there was 10,000 people there. I just told people, you need this shit in your life. So come and see us afterwards, and we'll sign it, or we'll do whatever it is you want us to do. People got to be given, quality. It's like you said about the content. If you're putting out crap, Joe Blogs ain't stupid. They know what they want and they know what they don't want. But there is, and I ask people. I mean, if there's people on watching now, I've probably asked them in the past. What do you want from us? We're running a competition at the moment. I've said, pick a song for us to cover, and we'll cover it. And the winner gets to come and sit in the studio with us while we do it. So I like running stuff like that because it makes them feel part of it. And when someone feels part of it and they got a little bit of ownership of it, it goes a long way. She's probably watching. There's Shazza, who she comes to like so many gigs. And she's our biggest flag waver. So I've sent her some stuff off this, what's going to be the third album. Said, what do you think of it? And like just demos, and I know it's sort of gone a long way with her. I said, what do you think? Should we do this one? Should we not do this one? And don't get me wrong, I haven't just done that just to make her feel good. I've done it because I actually respect what she thinks. She's bought both of our albums. She wears the t-shirts, she does all the rest of it, and comes to all our gigs and brings people. And whenever I put anything out on Facebook, she shares it. I've done this thing. I asked people, you might have seen it on our Facebook. I said about the Magic 500. And actually, if anybody else is watching and they want to be a part of the Magic 500, now's a good time to do it. I read this article that you only need 500 top screaming fans to actually make a career in this business. And I was like, well, that's fucking wrong, because I got like 3,500 followers on this and the other and all the rest of it. And then it was like, actually, but what they mean is like people who eat, sleep, drink, shit, the Communicators. And so
diehard fans.
Do you want to be in the Magic 500? And you might see I put places like hashtag Magic 500, because if you're in the Magic 500, what I ask you to do is share stuff, get involved with the band, and for that, we're going, when we're allowed to be back out playing and that, we're going to do some t-shirts with just hashtag Magic 500 on it that only people that are in the Magic 500 can have, like little pin badges and stuff. So that it's like, it's something they get back, and they'll get copies of demos and stuff that other people won't get to hear because they've helped us get that other stuff out there. So
that's a really good idea.
Well, you got to give people this stuff. There's that musician accelerator thing from Dave Days. I went on that website and just said, look, there's X amount of people on this group, 317, I think it is. I said, so take me out of it. There's 316 of you. Please go on and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll subscribe to yours. I can get, whatever. Because if you get over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then, Google bots or whatever you want to call them, or
all the algorithms,
the algorithms start saying, and you get noticed. And why not help each other out like that? It's just the way the world should be. And but like you got to give people value, I guess, at the end of the day.
I think you're spot on with that. It's all about making the fans feel special, So and what you're doing with the top 500 or the Magic 500, it's bang on. Like it is the fact that you get access, you get to be a part of the family. I think exactly. And it's
sorry, those people are as important as me, and that's genuinely how I see it.
Because at the end of the day, it's like you all need each other. Like you need the fans and the fans need you. So yeah, I think we just lost your photo here for a little bit, or your image.
I'm here.
There you go. We're back. Yeah, that's it. So in regards to sort of what you're doing at the moment to promote the Communicators, are you sort of like the main guy doing the online promotion? Or because obviously I'm thinking here, if you guys are aiding the band, if everybody is as proactive and annoying people as you said, then you guys should reach 1,000 subscribers in no time.
Well, we'd be Oasis by now if they all did as much as I did on it. And I don't mean split up hating each other. I mean, it's a tricky thing. You got 9 people, right? And the guitarist is a guitarist. He never came to me and said, "Look, I'm a promoter." He loves the stuff. The sax player's a sax player. He's about to be a dad. The trumpet player's got his own business and stuff. So, to get them to turn up and play their instruments, that's what I need from them. Don't get me wrong. Adam, the bass player, he does a lot of stuff. Shares all the stuff and he promotes it as much as he can. Yeah. But I am main. 9 times out of 10, and not always, because I think some people think that. You might see sometimes on our Facebook the Communicators answer, not Mitch. The Communicators answer, and it talks about Mitch. And I think people think I talk about myself in the third person, which is not the case because that's great. But, so there are times that some of the others will respond, but 9 times out of 10 it'll be me who's talking to you and dealing with stuff because there's they're also all very aware that it's my baby, and they're also very aware that I have a vision of what I do get from them is they say to me, "You've never let us down with this before, so why would we interfere with this shit?" And that's sort of a compliment. So I'm quite happy to take that. And what else am I going to do in a minute? Yes, I have a baby, which takes up a massive amount of time, but doing the videos, doing the documentary, we said about the Beatles songs. Those things are keeping me sane. Part of my transition from being fucked up to not being so fucked up was my new addictions music, and being involved in that. So you take that away from me, my brain starts to look back at other areas of, coping strategies. So I'm quite, it keeps me level-headed and straight to be doing this. And I'm sure my constant posting annoys some people and all the rest of it. But then just unsubscribe and just go and don't follow me or whatever. But
exactly, yeah.
I've asked some people. I was like, "You all still there? What's going on at times? Because it's quiet." And they'll go, "Yeah, we're all here. We're just listening to you." And it's like, okay, because as you're quite probably aware by now, because we've been talking for 4 days, that I don't mind a chat.
Yeah. And again, it's also the fact like it makes like people get exposed to the brand over and over. So whether they actually click on the links every time you post a song or a video is sort of irrelevant because they see it. You know what I mean? So, exactly. Yeah.
Especially with the new logo. The new logo is very,
it's fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah, but it sticks in your head. When you see that, you don't even need to see the words, the comms. If you see those 3 colours now, I think people go, "Oh, it's the comms," and that's that's the sort of branding. And Alan, who did it, he's fantastic. Alan Binding, his name is. In case anybody wants some branding, there you go. I've probably just earned myself a subscription and
a little shout out there. Yeah. But that's Look, I understand completely what you're saying about the whole sort of like trying to keep sane. That's the main reason why this live stream came about. Yeah, exactly. I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago when we sort of had to be locked up. Let me also start out by saying I've got 3 kids, or me and my wife have 3 kids. So there's a lot of hands on. When the kids are home from school. So I just needed something else than the depressing news and TV all the time, and this year just became an outlet to sort of try and connect and have conversations with real people, you could obviously have a chat about, how Corona has affected you. For like you guys, obviously it's affected you guys quite bad because you had to cancel the shows and like recordings and all that. But like most of all, it keeps you away from the news.
Absolutely.
I don't think I've checked the stats for the last 2 weeks, pretty much. So.
Well, you've got a young and similar age to mine, and fortunately for me, I don't know if you have this program over there, but Eagle Pickle's on my telly more than Boris Johnson is. So
yeah, we do.
They're quite similar in ways, but that program's messed up, man. But my son absolutely loves it, and like you say, it's not, Maca washing people's faces is a lot nicer to watch than seeing people dying and all the rest of it. So he's keeping me straight too. Bless him.
Yeah. I remember the first time I saw what was it called, In the Night Garden or something like that.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, my oldest son was like, he was a fanatic, so like he loved the show. He had to watch it every day, and so like you go like, what is this?
Well, I've had less,
but it works.
I've got to be honest.
Yeah, but it works, doesn't it? Like kids are happy and all that.
He's transfixed.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. If anyone wants to ask a couple of questions for Mitch, fire away and we will have a look at them shortly. I can see there's quite a few people. I think they've been commenting on some of the stuff that you guys have been doing in the past, so that's quite funny. We'll run through that shortly. I still like. Have you got sort of any tips or tricks or something to anyone sitting out there wanting to promote their own band? Obviously, you actually have made it. You've played some big shows, recorded quite a few songs as well, but. Like, do you reckon there is like not necessarily a magic trick, but is it something that has been instrumental to get to where you are? Like a good advice.
It'll sound corny, but you just got to do what you love, because at the end of the day, like I've tried to be in bands, and this is probably where this rebrand is partly come from as well, because I felt that when you have to sort of try and change what you're doing in a studio to fit what you think people are going to want, then you're not authentic and you're not being you. And how can you go out there and be passionate and talk about and push something that you think, I'm not really feeling this, or I don't really think this is where we're from. So I think just that thing of, and be consistent, like believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? Be consistent. Don't let any fucker tell you that it's wrong, because you can be wrong. If it's in your heart and it is what you want to do and you're passionate about it, and this goes for life. This is not just music, a career, whatever it is you want to do. Don't let anyone tell you that you're wrong, and just keep doing what you love. Because at the end of the day, I've said about jobs, if you love your job, then you never have to work again a day in your life. And that's exactly how I feel about it. I could earn more money going out selling shit, because I can do that, than I could ever do being in a band or even being a nurse or doing what I do. But every day that I get up, I'm happy now. It's again, it sounds a bit, contrite, but that inner happiness, that inner peace, that's vital. And if you haven't got it, fucking work out why you haven't got it. And you can't write songs thinking about other people, because if you do, they'll see through it. I mean, we got some not grief, but we got you want to be madness, but the truth is, at the start, I did. That was how it all started, and also. Madness weren't playing regularly. So it's like, well, this song, this would be on the next Madness. I can remember when Oasis split up, right? And I was doing something different. It was completely away from the Communicators. I can remember when Oasis split up, and I was saying to Ollie, who's the producer, I said to him, I'm really pissed off because I won't hear the next Oasis album. And he went, yeah, I guess that's better. I said, so let's write it. And he was like, what? I said, let's write it. I said, I know what I want to hear. So if we write it and we put it out, it's just for me, then I've just written and recorded the next Oasis album, and it sounds fucking great in my head. So, but it's what I really wanted to do, and it didn't really, people were saying, oh, it's not ska, it's not this, that, and it's like, this is who I am. And
if it feels right,
that's why I can stand up. That's why I can promote it, because I actually, weirdly, 100% believe in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Come with me and have a good time. If not, that's okay. We'll have a pint somewhere else and we'll be smiles and happy anyway.
Yeah.
But I'll do my thing, you do yours. And just keep pushing. I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm still doing stuff.
But I love it. Is there an age limit to being a rock star?
Not now. I was born a rock star. So that's what, like, when Lawrence, he used to call me rockstar or superstar, and I used to say, why did you do that? And he went, because you are one. Simple. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's just, Liam's Liam, isn't he? I don't think you switch the camera off and Liam would be any different than he is in front of the camera, and that's what I got. I mean, he's been a knob in the past, but I think he's all right, and I think he's true to what he believes, and that's fantastic. That's what you got to do. Believe in you, because why wouldn't you? We're not.
Oh, you have to.
Well, you got kids. We're not born thinking we're no good. We're not born, thinking we're not good enough or any of that shit. And we learn that over years from idiots who don't believe in themselves and project that onto you. So, you don't have to be, you don't have to change into someone else. You just got to remember who the fuck you were born to be, and that's vital.
Authenticity.
So they say. It's a good new word, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, man. So what's the end goal? Like, what's the ambition like? So sort of post all this Corona stuff when when the sky's blue again. What's going to happen?
Where you guys? Some people.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Like, I'll give you a cyber hug right here, man. Look, it's like where's the comms going to be in a couple of years, if it was up to you?
Playing big shows, playing the stuff we like to play, and just enjoying ourselves. And the thing is that I don't believe in end goals, because I don't think you should outrun your goals.
Ambitions.
Don't get me wrong. I think you should absolutely appreciate and enjoy your now and everything that you do now. Because if you're always looking in the future, then you never appreciate the things you achieve right now. But as far as goals are concerned, I think you have like little stops along the way. I mean, doing the reunion gig was a goal. Releasing the next album of the new lineup was a goal. Releasing this album from lockdown will be a goal. Then doing the next album when we're out, all together with the new rebranding and stuff. So it's to get the rebrand out there and to get people listening to us and coming to shows and seeing us as we are today will be a massive achievement, because there's a lot of, like I said, that old ska thing, which, we went into the gig in Manchester, a ska festival in Manchester, and they fucking hated us.
Really?
We weren't playing Monkey Man and that sort of stuff, and that's perfectly all right, but we're just not that. So I think we'll do better at generic festivals. I don't think we would, I don't think we should be pigeonholed, really. If it sounds good and we enjoy it, it's great. There's a song I've written called "Hey, What You Doing," which stems from my son, right? Because I walk in the room and I see, I go, "Hey, what you doing?" Because there's and I wrote this song from it, and it sounds like, I don't know, it sounds a bit, I don't know, if Suggs bumped into the Stone Roses, it sounds a bit like that. So wherever it takes you at the time, that's what you got to do. And so getting that across to audiences and them appreciating that and just taking us for what we are, instead of, we just want to be Madness, don't they? Or they're a two-tone tribute band. That's, that is a massive goal for us. So achieving that which all of this that we're doing and the YouTube channel and that, I've tried to get it so that there's none of that old stuff on the YouTube, our channel. I mean, you can't stop other things from years ago, but our stuff is all geared up to this is our sound, this is who we are. So come along and enjoy it.
Look, actually, just before we head over and have some Q's and A's, as I said before we started, I said I'm gonna show people how to subscribe to the channel. So maybe let me just try and bring this up here. So people, when you're watching, and people when you are watching this back, because again, let's also start by saying as soon as we finish here, you can share, you can rewatch all of this here. But go on to youtube.com/thecomms. And then you go in here. So people, at the moment, let me just say so you can follow here. So at the moment, I'm showing the browser here. So you go over here. It's very simple, guys. You click that little subscribe button here and you hit the little bell. It's that simple. Actually, I forgot to hit the bell. So let me just quickly do that. Boom. So that allows you to get all the notifications. So every time that Mitch are posting a song, which he's doing quite frequently at the moment, you will be getting a notification and you can go in and click on it. And that helps,
it costs you nothing.
Exactly. It costs you nothing and it takes you 10 seconds. So go to youtube.com/thecomms and click on the subscribe button. Here we go. Right there. So see right now, we don't want to unsubscribe, but that's normally red. You click it, you subscribe, and you click the bell. And you can get a lot of, let's say it's not free music. You can listen to it for free, but really what you should do if you like the music, you should go to tell people where they should go if they really want to support you, because they have to support you with with your song that you are donating money to NHS. Where can they go and buy the song and give you some money or some donations?
Well, Lockdown Summer Bummer is on iTunes and Amazon, and those are the two places that you can go and buy it. It costs 99p, of which obviously they take a little bit, but everything else, every bit of profit that I make from that is going straight to our local NHS. So you can go to Amazon or to iTunes and download that. If you want any of our previous albums or any albums going forward, our website's a good one for that. Although even they're on iTunes, they're on Amazon. But our website is www.thecommunicators.club. So you can go there. And we've got all the other things, Facebook, Twitter. I have no idea what that's about, man. Honestly, I
think it's very much an American thing. I think the Americans love it.
Liam loves it.
Right.
He's good at it. He just random shit that nobody understands. But and we have Instagram and all the rest of it. So please go and subscribe to all of our stuff. YouTube's probably the main one at the moment. I think that we're really pressing home. Just because I think that's where you get your music and your videos and stuff out there, and it's I think that's where people get picked up. To be honest, I think if anything big's going to happen, it'll come through YouTube. So please help us out.
Well, I suppose it's because you have the opportunity of having sort of like the visual aspect to it as well. And again, like all your videos have got sort of like a red line. Like they all sort of have that same vibe, the same feel to it, which is it's quite unique. It's almost like your own style. You're also really good at branding all the thumbnails, so everything has again consistency. So guys, go in here.
I've been doing this online social media music thing course, and then listening to anybody that's done this stuff, because it's important. It's important. You go on people's YouTube channels, and like you say, some of them don't have thumbnails, and it all looks a bit messy and not. So I just looked at a few bands that I liked, and they're sort of a similar ilk, and went, "Well, how have they done it? What have they done?" And it just looks like a proper channel where, and the videos. I mean, I do all the videos myself, so but I enjoy doing it. It's good fun. I've just done a video for my friend in the studio, Ollie. He's done a dance single, and he asked me if I'd do a video for it. And that's sort of completely different. It's like 90s dance. And but that was great, and I got paid for it, and happy days. So
fantastic.
Another career.
A little sidekick there to sort of to keep it all going.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me go over here and see what we've got. So I'll scroll up from the start here. So we've got
no nasty ones, eh?
No, so we've got Paul Bryce, who's saying that his phone is on 80%. Sounds great, looking good, dear boy. Paul Bryce. Is that a mate of yours?
I know Mr. Bryce. Bryce. He was in the chapter 4 of the documentary. He's been coming to see us for a long time, and I asked him if he'd do a little bit of a narrative for the documentary, and he did. Bless him. He didn't turn his telly off though, so I had this crap going on in the background. I had to try and get rid of it. So next time, Brycey, turn your telly off.
Cool. Yeah, and that's probably a good thing to tell people as well. If you go to the Comms website, you can actually watch a whole. I think what are you up to now? Have you got four or 5 episodes?
Four so far.
Four so far, where you can actually follow the whole sort of storyline of the band. So it's quite interesting. And Mitch have done. You've edited the whole thing, I guess.
I have, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good, and again, it's very well made. It's very easy to watch. But let's try and get back and see what else we've got here. Shazza Parsons, there we go.
She did
yeah, so she's coming a couple of times. She's gonna come in and watch it later. She's tagging. I think she's replying to Paul Bryce here. And they're gonna come back and watch it later. But that's again the cool thing about this medium, like by the time we're doing this live, people can obviously engage. But as soon as we're offline, people can still comment. You can still go in and reply to comments, and they can keep watching this. We're not gonna have all the pretty thumbnails as you have on YouTube, but the most important thing is
to get any Aussies on.
We've got. Let's see here. I think. I've got actually the guy I had on last night, which is he's a good mate of mine. He's a tattoo artist who's commenting here. So Steve saying he said, I've noticed that you reference a lot of UK and Brit bands. Do you take any influences from band like Less Than Jake, Voodoo Glow, Skulls, Real Big Fish, and those sort of US punk ska band? That's a good one.
I like Less Than Jake. Real Big Fish were a massive influence on me on the 90s. And we got to play with them at Boomtown Festival.
Nice.
And insane, absolutely insane. Just like mind-blowing. I love all those bands. All that 90s sort of ska, punk stuff. There's the Interrupters that are about at the moment. American band. They're excellent. But yeah, all of that, when I say ska two-tone, I mean ska, blue beat, two-tone, third wave, blah, 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 and everything else in between. It's all those bands have given me something. Real Big Fish, we used to do Sell Out, and Join the Club. Back when we were a covers band, we used to do a load of their songs. So yeah, massive. Yeah. But Aaron's nuts, man. It's like just being in a room and he's like on fire all the time. Drinks a lot.
Yeah, awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. But it's where we got to play with so many and meet so many of these people that we played the Specials after show party when they did Brixton Academy, and we've had Roddy Radiation, the lead guitarist. He came and played with the Comms at a couple of gigs, just like on stage with us, playing our songs, special songs, and we did a couple of gigs with him. We've played with Neville. We've done, we've been involved with Madness, Real Big Fish, and then then we did Boomtown as well. When we played with the Toots and the Maytals, Toots was there, which was just, that 5446 was my number. Was just one of my all-time favorite ska tunes. And which we used to do, and so for him to be there was like, wow, this Bad Manners and the beat. I got to know Rankin Roger quite well. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but through playing with them, a couple of times. And I think the strangest one from Rhoda Dakar. I don't know if you know Rhoda, but she was in a band called the Body Snatchers, and she was in the Special AKA. Did the old Free Nelson Mandela, and that was her.
Wow.
And she came and sung on one of our songs a few years ago, and me and Rhoda were friends. We talk quite regularly. So apart from she's a Chelsea fan, which we won't talk about, we're sort of mates. I can remember having that conversation with her, and she said, "Well, we're friends, aren't we?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." You had a poster of you on my wall. Well, okay, whatever. But she's lovely. She's a really, really stunning human being. So yeah, it's just sort of bizarre, really, that we got to meet all these people and get involved with them. But yeah. In short, yes, I do like Less Than Jake, and I do like Real Big Fish.
Awesome.
No Effects. So all those sort of bands as well, So
good memories.
So, yeah, fab. The 90s was a good time.
And we have we got Angela, who's saying, she says, "Oh my God, I love Real Big Fish." Angela Skaka Wakeham, is that someone you know?
Yeah, she was our sax player from the reunion last. She unfortunately has had to leave through some personal circumstances, but
right.
Yes, she's an angel. She's lovely.
We've got Kevin Stoker. I think he must have been commenting on one of your stories. He said Kevin Stoker said it was a top night. I passed out drunk.
Yeah, but see, if you go and follow Kevin, right, that is most nights for Kevin.
Right.
He does this thing. He gets drunk and then he does late night cooking with Kev. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch.
Oh, you gotta throw us a link. I can put it on the page.
Yeah, okay, we'll do that, Kev. Late night cooking with Kev.
And Angela's commenting is replying back to him saying it's just a normal night out then.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's see what else is there. Kevin says, so who's more drunk, DJ, Kev, or Rob?
Ooh, that's a tough one. See, DJ Rob is our sound man, right?
Oh, good.
And I've known Rob for about 100 years, and I have out of all the people in the world that I've ever been drunk with, I've been most drunk with him. We ended up in the hospital one night. We thought he was having a heart attack. And because I was a nurse, we turned up at A&E, and I'd had a few, and we turned up at A&E, and there was this huge queue, and I thought, well, I know what I need to say to get him seen. So I said, look, he's got his chest pains, they're radiating down his left arm, and that. So they woofed him straight through. And so he spends the night in hospital, right? We go and pick him up the next day. I'm sat in the waiting room. And he comes out and he's sat in the waiting room. He's got to go and have a test, but they think he's all right, but he's got to go and have a test. And we're sat in the waiting room and we're chatting. And he said, "You bloody got me in here, didn't you?" By saying, I said, "Well, listen, we didn't know, blah, blah, blah." And we're sat there and it's just me, one other guy called Paul, and Rob. And the porter comes in with a wheelchair and says, "Come on, Clive, I've got to take you down for your echo." Right? So Rob gets up, gets into the wheelchair, and they take him off. And I turn around and look at Paul and I went, "What?" 20 minutes later, Rob walks back through the door and goes, "I'm not fucking Clive, am I?" We're like, "Well," he said, "There was no one else in the room." I said, "What if he was having like an anal examination or something?" He said, "Well, fortunately, they checked my wristband." And they went, "You're not Clive." And he went, "I know." He said, "Well, why did you get in the chair?" He said, "Because there was nobody else to go." I said, and that sort of about sums it. And we had to go back because he had to have an endoscopy, right? And I don't know if you know what an endoscopy is. It's when they stick a camera down your throat.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this was weeks later, and they said, "Don't drink," right? Well, they said, "Don't drink at the midnight." So we went out on the beer up to about 11:30, 11:45, right? Went over to Cardiff to have this thing. So we're hanging, right? And it was a red hot day. And we're sitting in the waiting room, and we've both gone to sleep, right? But he's gone to sleep, and he's got a newspaper on his head like this, right? And they come to call him, and they actually called his name, and he's like, oh, there. He got up, he took the newspaper off, and where he'd been sweating, he had like the sun tattooed on his forehead. And I was like, this just about sums up. But he's been our sangman for about 100 years, and a really, really good friend of mine. So who's the most drunk? You're both bad as each other.
Is he doing good sound though? If he's constantly on the booze,
none of us would know.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's got 2 volumes off and fucking loud.
Yeah, that's either or.
Yeah, but yeah, no, he's a good lad. He's a good lad. They both are. Kev DJ'd at our comeback gig. He played some old school Bond stuff, and yeah, they're Scar Train. There's another plug for you. Go and look them up.
Scar Train.
They play Scar Train. Yeah.
Cool. We might throw them in the comments after. Let's see. Oh, my mom has said thanks for the manual to have it subscribed. So I think you might have gotten a new subscriber there. She's sitting. She is in. I'm from Denmark originally, and she's in lockdown back home. So there you go.
It'll give you someone to watch for 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I'm sure she'll be going through most of your documentaries and music videos now. It's like your music would be right up her alley anyway. So that's I think you might get maybe she can join the Magic 500.
She's more than welcome.
You can get a fan for life. Get some shows in Denmark. Have you played in Denmark before?
Never played in Denmark. Never.
I think there'd be huge potential for you guys to play Roskilde. They are very diverse.
Uh-huh.
You know, one of the biggest festivals. I think probably in Europe. I think huge. Okay. But I'm sure. Well, I'm sure you know. Have you heard of Roskilde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to do it. Did I still do that? INXS did it years ago, I think.
Oh yeah, that would be quite a while back. Oasis played that. But yeah, huge. Obviously, it's cancelled, same as anything else in Europe these days. But next year maybe gives you plenty of time to prep, so you can get all the arsenal up to pull the trigger for 2021.
Absolutely. What I can do is shave my beard, drop some weight. And like everybody else in the country. And
when is the beard coming off? Because I think we spoke about that just before we went live. That you said you've been growing it since lockdown. Is that right?
Yeah. It's a 7-week job, and I can't really grow a beard. So this is quite impressive for me. In this,
I'm the same.
Said, there's a little bit of white in there. I said to you before we come on air. Feel like I swallowed a badger and left the tail hanging out. So
yeah. Well, I got very disgusted. I saw I had a sort of like 2 white tails here, and you know
what would we do that for?
That's not very very rock and roll, is it?
No, not at all. And I need a bit of a haircut as well. It's getting a bit, you know. Hey, I'll look like Liam Gallagher by the time I finish.
I was about to say, I've got my hair. I'm usually shaved, and I've got this huge. Like mane at the moment.
Yeah.
That's why I got to put a beanie on, because it's getting. I actually feel like a Lego man. It feels like it's just plastic hair, and you can just rub it around because it's so thick.
All around.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't been used to this for like 5 years. I've just constantly having had a shaved head.
Well, my wife, she did cut it about 3 weeks ago, and she did it with the dog clippers. Bless her.
Nice. Well, again, it suits you. It looks good.
Yeah. Well, it's usually really short, but hey, could be go with the new look.
It could be the new look of the comms.
Who knows?
So when just before we round off, when can we expect the third album? What's the time frame?
Well, it's like. You might hear there's a sound effect going on in the background there. I'm recording stuff every day. So it's a case of picking stuff. And I've got to try and get some of the guys on it, obviously. That's the main difficulty. Because the one thing I can't do, I can't play brass instruments. Is they'll tell you, if any of them are watching Angela, that I'll go, I've got this song, and the brass goes like this, la 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 la, and I'll la la la. And Bob, bless him, who comes in the studio quite a lot with me, sort of bark stuff at him. And he sits in this little room with his sax and his trombone, and I bark what I want him to play, and he manages to translate it and do it. So it's the one thing I play a bit of guitar, and I can sort of bang a keyboard and, sing. And, Ollie, actually, you would work with in the studio. He's a great bass player. I obviously can play drums as well. So he can play drums, he plays guitar. So we get a lot of it done between us. So I'm hoping, let's go out on a limb and say Christmas.
Excellent. And are the other guys sort of like, depending on how all this lockdown continues, are they able to record from home?
Yeah, some of them not, unfortunately. But yeah, it's always a difficult process getting the record anyway, because there's so many of us. But there's enough of the people that can record and have access to recording facilities that we'll be able to get it done, I think. So
fantastic.
I'm hoping. That's the thing with a beard. You keep doing this, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, it seems like
a wise sort of fucking gnome.
Sort of nip it all the time. But again, I suppose the same. If you haven't been used to it, like me, like I said, I usually have like 2 or 3 day growth, and that's it. So to have this, which is like a 6-7 week growth, you feel like a dirty Santa, like a homeless guy or something. It's crazy.
Right, you've got a bead in it. That's what you really want to do.
Oh yeah, just keep growing it. You'll look like dirty Santa or something.
Yeah.
Awesome, Mitch.
Christmas.
Fantastic. Look, I'm super. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. I loved your stories, man. They are absolutely insane, man. It sounds like you've been through, and obviously like you have some personal experience along the way as well, but like super interesting, very very powerful experience as well with the whole weight loss stuff. Thanks so much for sharing that.
You're welcome. I've lived several lives.
Yeah, well, you're still young, so you've got plenty more lives to come.
Absolutely.
Before we round off, as you said before, it was your birthday yesterday, and your main wish was to get 2,000 views on the lockdown summer bomber. Let's see, how many are you up to now? Because
1911 the last I looked.
All right, so let's try and see with everybody who's been watching this and rewatching this and sharing and streaming and all that stuff. Let's try and see if we can get you over 2,000. So what I've done here is, I don't know if you're familiar with Bitly, the URL shortener. It's that. Yeah. So I've actually created a lockdown summer bomber link. So that's a lot easier than having a YouTube with a ton of different bits and pieces after. So I'll get you to introduce the video. And what I've done is I've posted that little link up the top. So people can just write that in and they can share the shit out of that. So let's get you over 2,000. So let's get you over 2,000. It's been an absolute pleasure, Mitch. Please, can you introduce Lockdown Summer Bomber and just give us a short little rundown to how that song came about and how you recorded that?
Okay, so I say it came a couple of days into lockdown. I had tried to go back to be a nurse to help in this current horrible time. And for a medical reason, I was unable to do that. So I come off the phone feeling pretty dejected and thought, well, what can I do? So the only other thing I'm good at is music. So I picked up the guitar and I wrote this song. And like I said, this has been the sort of the thread of the album, this lockdown album, is there's this zombie theme going through it. So I started writing this thing about, the apocalypse and everything else that was going on. But even though that's all going on, you won't beat us. So let's bring on the dancing girls. Let's have a good time and smile while we're at it. And so that's what Lockdown Summer Bummer is about. It's not about, oh, Christ, this all shit. It's like, when we get out of this, we're going to be stronger, better. And whilst we're doing it, take a moment to stop and reflect and smile and have a good time while we're at it. So that was where Lockdown Summer Bummer came about. I literally recorded it in my conservatory and did the video also in my conservatory on my computer. And what you see, or what you're about to see, is the result of that.
And how long did that take?
All of it. So with the video and that, it literally probably took me about 48 hours. So it was immense.
That's a good effort. That's sensational. Sensational. I had to do something, and I felt really strongly about it. And I just had that na thing in my head, and the dancing girls idea and stuff. And it was like, just, it's not a hard song to play, it's an easy song to play. It's not many chords, because I'm not a great guitarist. So it's like literally, Campfire.
Yeah.
Campfire style.
Yeah.
Actually,
and that was it. Off we went.
One last thing that just came to mind, because I'm gonna put on your little scroll here with all your socials, so Instagram, Twitter, website, and all that. Why don't you guys have a Patreon page?
Why do we have one?
Are you familiar with the Patreon?
No, that's why we don't have one.
I will talk to you about that after. But Patreon pretty much is. I set my page up the other day. Patreon is a page where people, so your fans, your followers, can go in and you can set them up to subscribe to different tiers. So you can, again, like in regards to your Magic 500s, it might be something that they would look into. But you can set up different tiers for your fans to subscribe and on a monthly fee. So for instance, like I said, I set mine up the other day. So if anybody watching, they like the show, you can go in and you can sign up. But how it works is you like, people can sign up for like $3, $5 per month. So literally like the cost of a cup of coffee. And then you have access through the website to give them exclusive content. So you can only get that content if you pay a small fee. So it sounds like sort of with the reach that you guys have, we've been around for over a decade and played some big gigs. Your fans would then be able to go and connect with you and the band, and for like a tiny little fee, have access to all the privileges that you give them. So it could be songs, video of like footage from the studio, all of that. But look, I'll send you some links after, and we can have a chat about it after the video. But I think that might be something for you to look into. I think that might make a huge difference to sort of for you and the band.
People with
exactly, I guess, and so you should, because it's tough to be a musician.
It is tough. It's tough. But it's not like being a doctor, but it is tough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's tough in a very different way.
Yeah. And,
absolutely.
While we're at it, we might as well shout out to all those amazing people that are putting themselves at risk. I've got friends still on the front. I had one of my friends phone me last night. She's a sister on a ward. She runs a ward, and yesterday she started getting symptoms, and she rung me at like 2:00 in the morning and said, "Oh, what do I do?" And I was like, "Well, first things first. Get yourself tested, and so that's real life out there. That's scary, and these people have done an amazing job. So if anyone here is watching, thank you.
Absolutely, they're the soldiers in this crazy world at the moment.
Well, our bass player, he works in the hospital. He's been in it every day. So hats off to him too. He's one of our heroes.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
good on you, bass player. Do you want to do a little shout out for Adam? Thanks, Adam. Mitch, I cannot stress enough. It's been an absolute pleasure. I loved your stories, love your music, and I hope everybody who has been watching this and will be watching it after we go off being live, I hope they will go in and check out your socials, give you a like, give you a subscribe, and hopefully they will buy this song that we're about to hear, so they can donate some money to the hospital.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a pleasure. I'll put on. Do you want to give it a quick shout out, Lockdown?
Go and download Lockdown Summer Bummer by the Comms now.
That's it. Thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in or listening along to the show. If you like the show, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review and subscribe to my social channels. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me to build my networks and my chances of getting sponsors to keep this show running. If you want to take it to the next level, please head over to patreon.com/Stephen Helhammer and become a patron by joining the exclusive community there. You can start from as little as $3 per month. And for just a little extra, you get access to some fantastic features, outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, and much, much more. That's less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And that way you can help me build better content. I can devote more time to find awesome guests and just generally just keep everything flowing. If you want to be on the show or subscribe to my mailing list, send an email to steven@helhammer.com, and that is HELhammer.com. That way I can start sending you exclusive invites, random stuff, and messages that, who knows, you might enjoy. So that's it. Have a rocking day ahead, guys, and I will see you on the live stream or in your headphones very soon. Take it easy.